Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. How you doing, my friends? I do have a MOPA. As you can see behind me here, I have a Monport 30 watt split MOPA. And I kind of had purposely not brought in a fiber laser because I had so much to do in the diode space, the desktop CO2s, kind of my workflow, right? It's what I use for my business. I really didn't have an actual need for a fiber laser. And so why should I have one more thing in the shop? I was working in a smaller space, just really wasn't practical. Even though they're reasonably small, you've got to justify everything. And I use the Atom Stack Craft, which is behind me here, and it has a built-in IR. And I was really impressed with the fact that I was easily being able to switch to the IR module and do some metal engraving. It comes in handy once in a while. And right as I'm doing that, Monport reached out to me and they're like, hey, would you like to try our 30 watt MOPA? And I was like, Monport. So I had their K40 and I really couldn't use it without doing a ton of upgrades. So then I've got the Onyx, which I loved a lot, but hey, it had its issues. And going back and forth with Monport over all these things, not my most favorite experience ever. But I'm thinking, okay, I've watched a lot of videos on them. I'd always been intrigued. Lightburn came out with the software so you could use the Galvo. That's a big win for me. I'm like, let's just try it. From what I've seen with these Galvo machines, I don't hear people having problems very often. It seems like they're a very solid built thing, not a lot of moving parts to deal with, and much easier. They don't get dirty the way that, your diode lasers do. So what could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, if there's anything Monport can do correctly, it's going to be a fiber laser. And so I say, hey, let's give it a shot. I am definitely into giving second, third chances to any manufacturer. I mean, look what happened with Atom Stack, as I've said many times. Absolutely hated my first Atom Stack, and then they just got so much better in almost every way. And today they're one of the top brands that I recommend. Yeah, the Craft, right? So just Rolly and Atom Stack, pretty much 1-2. So I get this thing. It comes in almost immediately. Great job with the shipping. It was very, very fast. I was very happy with it. The crate that it came in was super impressive, seeing it come off the truck. I cracked that thing open. It was packed really, really well. No problems whatsoever in that whatsoever. Just amazing. I pull it out. It's way bigger than I actually anticipated how it was going to feel. It's substantial. So I put it up. And I'm very excited. And this is one of the things about lasers. They've come so far. When I very first started using lasers, I had a Jinmitsu Jinsoku LC40. Still remember this. And you had to, plug in some software and do all these things before you could get it to work. Well, today it's pretty much plug and play. The Atom Stack Craft, I plugged it in. Literally 5 minutes later, I'm making stuff, right? I say all this because I set up the Monport. I try to follow their instructions with the manual, and I am getting nowhere. And it is driving me crazy. Now, I can get it to work, and it looks really good. So I'm like, forget whatever they're trying to do because it's not working. I went in, I downloaded some stuff, I got it going on, and I was able to get the thing working, right? And I started making things and testing, and you could see I have done a giga load of testing on this thing. And I was testing it with the way that I had put it together and doing my own research, and it was looking really good. But as you'll see in this photo here, even though it came out pretty well, you can see it's bowed at the top and the bottom. So obviously the settings were incorrect. So I got a hold of Monport, and they told me that, oh, it was shipped with the wrong manual, and there's an updated manual. So I'm fine. They sent it to me through Facebook. I used everything. Still, there was one little issue where it wasn't square, and they told me, oh, okay, well, flip these then. So the manual was incorrect, even the second one. I flipped these things, and then it seems to work pretty good. Now, I'm not 100% on that yet because I haven't done all the testing in the new way. You could see on metal, it turned out really, really nice. You can see I got colors and all that, which is what a lot of people get a MOPA for. You can see all these blues and browns and whites, and that's really, really fun. It is really fun. If there's one reason to get a MOPA laser, it's just the testing is so much fun, seeing all these different ways that it's going to come out and what you can do, changing the focus and things like that. So it has been a lot of fun and frustrating as well. You know, that's the thing. It's like, come on, it's a great machine. Why can't you just send the right manual, send the right instructions? Like, seems like such a simple thing. And I've gone through this over and over again with Monport, and it's kind of driving me nuts because this is a great machine. Once I get it all dialed in, it's going to be probably super consistent, and I don't see it breaking. So it's just that initial getting through that initial part that's very difficult. So of course, I have links down below. I have a discount link for the Monport. If you're somebody who's willing to, and I'm going to make a video, the next video at the end, will explain to you how to set this thing up correctly. So if you're willing to do that, I would recommend it just because it is so solid, and I really don't feel like there's going to be any issues with the machine itself. It's just that initial setup, which drove me a little nuts. So yeah, I have links below for everything. You can see here, these things aren't cheap. If you look at it, you can see that you're ranging from $2,500 maybe for the 20 watt to maybe $2,000 up to, $7,000, $8,000 for a 100 watt. So this is not just a small investment, right? You would think, it's only $500. Maybe I'll have to do a little work setting it up and figuring it out. But for $3,500 plus tax, that thing better be right. And of course, you got to compare it to what else you can get. If it's $4,000 or $5,000 for a comparable machine and you have to put in a little time, then I get it. So who even is this thing for? Metal, basically. Yeah, it's great for me being able to do little metal things pretty quickly. I've been having a lot of fun on slate coasters. I never did slate coasters before. I just was not really into the breakability of it, and they're heavy and you got to tow them around, and consistency when it comes to manufacturing, and all these things are still true. But the ability to just quickly do them on a fiber laser while I'm making other stuff with my diode, it seems like it's useful. And being able to do that metal, which I wasn't able to do before, like actually not just etch out some anodized stuff, or mostly what you're doing here with the IR, but to actually be able to cut some metal, which I will get into in the next couple of videos. It's a learning curve, but you can really, really do a lot. So I have bought coins, and I have bought a couple $100 worth of stuff just to test this machine so you can see what it can do. So I'm going to do the 3D engraving and coins and, the color tests and slate and pretty much anything you can think of. But I really want your feedback. Leave me a comment below. What would you like to see tested? What are your curiosities and thoughts? Because I have the fiber laser. I might as well dig into it and help everybody on this as much as I can. And coming into it as a newbie who kind of understands lasers, I think I can empathize with a lot of the people just starting out and kind of try and answer those questions for myself and for you at the same time. I think we might find that useful. So again, if there's a type of material you want tested or something, or want to see capabilities of this, now is the time to ask. So that's all I'm going to say for this video. It is my first impressions. Is my first impressions. And we will get into more of the nitty gritty in the next video. I will see you in the next one. Love y'all.